In the last video, I spoke about the degree of pluralism. This is important, and I'll start this video with a discussion of the frames of reference developed by Alan Fox. The first of these is the unitarist frame of reference that understands conflict between management and workers to be avoidable. If management are effective and they're able to remove problematic employees and communicate effectively to employees, then the organisation will function harmoniously and conflict can be eliminated. The role of management from the unitary frame of reference is to ensure that employees understand the purpose of the organisation, to communicate clearly with employees and to ensure that employees undertake the tasks assigned to them in the manner management instructs. In contrast to the unitary frame of reference, there is the pluralist frame of reference, according to which conflict is inevitable. Employees and managers fundamentally differ in their interests, where employees on the one hand want better terms and conditions of employment, and on the other, management want to reduce costs and increase productivity. Conflict is not always apparent because employees understand that their interests are often served by cooperating with management. However, conflict is always present, although not always observable. And conflict emerges when employees believe that it is in their interest to withhold cooperation. The role of management from the pluralist frame of reference is to deal with conflict when it emerges. Management cannot eliminate conflict, but instead management must try to ensure that conflict does not create a problem for the organisation. In sum, voice is unnecessary from a unitarist perspective, but it is critical from a pluralist perspective. There are four broad measures of voice. Degree refers to the extent of influence employees have over final workplace decisions. Level refers to the level at which employees exert their influence, for example, over the task that they carry out, over their department, or at the corporate level. Forms of voice refer to the modes of involvement or participation present in the organisation. We will discuss several of these in due course. Finally, the range of voice refers to the number or breadth of issues on which employees can express their voice. We can understand involvement as communication and as consultation. Although these two words are similar, they mean very different things when applied to involvement. Communication suggests that information passes in one direction, that is, from management to employees. It is said that communication is essential to organising individuals, as without communication, there is no organisation. Communication-oriented involvement mechanisms include meetings whereby management convey information to larger groups of employees to deal with general issues, team briefings undertaken with smaller groups and focused on specific issues, and finally emails. Larger organisations have come to rely on electronic dissemination of information via emails for their speed and perhaps because management don't have to deal with the fallout from bad news in person. Consultation is a form of involvement by sourcing the opinion of employees on matters that management deem relevant for employee input. Examples include problem-solving groups, whereby groups are formed in order to develop a solution to a problem. Employee surveys involve employees by requesting information from those employees on matters of importance to the business. Finally, suggestion schemes involve employees by inviting suggestions about how the organisation might better perform. It is useful to refer to Stephen Luke's Faces of Power to explain how involvement works. The first face of power is the most obvious and refers to a situation where someone is able to force someone else to do something they otherwise would not do. Power can also be exerted by controlling an agenda or setting the options from which someone else chooses. A does not demonstrate power by forcing B to do something. Instead, A determines the options available to B, all of which are desirable to A. So irrespective of B's choice, A still achieves the outcome intended. B has a sense of agency, but is ultimately doing what A wants. According to the third phase, power is exerted when A creates the conditions wherein B automatically does what A wants because B believes that what they're doing is appropriate or beneficial. It is useful to illustrate how involvement works by applying the three phases of power. First, communication. Instructing someone on what they must do is also known as coercion. This is common to all contracts of service or contracts for services, as I'll discuss shortly. As for the second phase of power, consultation works by involving employees in a range of issues over which employees can exert their influence. Employees may believe that they have voice because they're able to influence decision, but these decisions are limited to issues that management are interested in resolving. Finally, where employees are afforded autonomy in terms of what they do, as in the case of problem-solving groups, then they take ownership of a problem. They perform in the interests of management because they also believe it is in their interests. Involvement as coercion may seem negative, but coercion is a fundamental component of the employment relationship. Indeed, wherever there is a contract of service, an employment contract, or a contract for services between a client and a contractor, there will be coercion. That is, if the employee worker does not adhere to the contract, there will be consequences. This is necessary to ensure safety, equity, and effectiveness. Think about why coercion is necessary to achieve these three objectives and bring your ideas to class. Coercion is central to F.W. Taylor's scientific management. Read the slide. What are your thoughts on Taylor's view of workers? Bring your ideas to class.